When it comes to minimalism, I love sharing ways that we can be more intentional about how we spend our money and share things that I don't buy anymore or ways I save money and all of that stuff. But that's not really the full picture, because part of why I love minimalism so much is that it helps me to also be able to splurge every once in a while on the things that really bring me joy. Because to me, minimalism is not just about less, it is about more through less, more of the things that really enrich our life. Are these things truly necessary? No. Do they make my life better, easier, more fun? Yes, definitely. So here are the things that I still love to buy and splurge on as a minimalist. Here we go. Of course, this list is personal to me, so my hope is that it might inspire you to find some things that you like as well and that you could maybe splurge on every once in a while. So let's call it intentional splurging. If you say splurging enough times, it starts to sound like a really weird word. Number one, of course, books. I read every day, and I've basically been doing that ever since I was old enough to read, so books are definitely going to be number one on this list. You can definitely get your books at a library, which is a great option and will definitely be cheaper, and I think most minimalists, or a lot of minimalists, probably do this. I prefer to buy my books because I am pretty particular about which books I want to read, and also I want to be able to read them again and again. I'm one of those people who rereads books. I also never buy books that I don't read. I read all of them. I do my research beforehand to see if I think that I will actually like it. Most of the time, my initial guess is pretty spot on. Ever since discovering minimalism, most of my books are now ebooks, so I have them on my entire library of books on just this tiny thing, which I love. Ever since moving in here, now that we have our own little office, I also like to have some physical copies of the books that I really like. We have some cookbooks, some non-fiction books that I really like, and recently I got this 25th anniversary edition of The Highly Sensitive Person by Elaine Aron. This book definitely deserves to be in my home because it changed my life. So this is something that I splurged on, even if I also have the ebook. Just who thought it would be a good idea to put books like this into these like slip covers? I hate these. Does anyone agree? Number two, special bucket list activities. I think that if there is something that you've just always wanted to do, I think it's always going to be worth saving up for and splurging on, even if it is something a bit more expensive. So whether that's taking a trip somewhere special or going in a hot air balloon, whatever it is that you wanted to do, I think it's always going to be worth it. We recently went to a symphony concert of Joe Hisaishi in London, and that has been my number one bucket list thing for years. I'm a huge fan of his, and these tickets were not cheap. They were a little over 200 euros a piece, which is definitely not something that I would have paid for just anyone. But since this was so special, it really was the kind of experience that I will bring with me for the rest of my life. So I have not regretted a single second spending that money and splurging on this really special activity. Number three, furniture and making my home beautiful. I love interior design, I love furniture, I love beautifully designed spaces. It's definitely one of my passions and interests. And when it comes to beautifying your home, making it a space where you really love to be, and when you're surrounded by pretty things that make you happy, I personally think that is worth splurging on. So when we moved in here, we did bring a lot of things with us from the old apartment, but I also replaced some things that were either just old and used up, or that I was honestly just tired of looking at. All of these things I replaced. We got rid of the gray wooden look that we had going on in the previous apartment that was like everywhere around like the 2010s and stuff, and I replaced it with a lot of warmer wood tones like oak. I also have some natural stone going on here and there, and most of these things are not solid wood, by the way. Some of them are, but others are oak veneer, which makes them a bit more affordable. But I just love every piece that's in my home now. If you want to see a full apartment tour where I show you everything in detail, I will leave that right there and in the description box. Number 4, of course, Japanese green tea. Those of you who've been around for a while probably know just how far my passion for tea goes. Especially Japanese green tea, I just go nuts for that stuff, and it is a source of absolute joy for me. So I start every morning with some green tea, and it gives me the energy that I need, especially with the darker months coming up. I often get questions about which green teas I like and would recommend, so I contacted EQT because that's where we always get our green tea from, and I asked them to send me my absolute favorite 3 teas so that I could recommend these to you, and they are also sponsoring today's video. EQ partners with dedicated tea farmers all around the island of Kyushu, and these teas are renowned for their high quality. If you ask me, it just doesn't get any better than this. They are so flavorful, they're super green, and you can really taste all the love and care that goes into making them. First tea that I want to show you is this one. It's called Yana. This is my absolute favorite sencha. Lots of flavor and umami. It is nice and sweet. It has no bitterness at all, and I recommend this for anyone who loves green tea, but also for those of you who are new to green tea, because this one is really friendly and very easy to drink. The next tea is called Isao. It is a very fragrant aromatic tea. I love this because it is a bit more complex, more assertive, but still very balanced, and it just has a real depth of flavor. It is so good, and I always include this in my orders as well. Remember that these teas are high quality, so that means that you can rebrew them. I always brew them 4 times just by adding water each time, and each time the flavor changes, so that's really cool. And lastly, the matcha of all matchas. This is the Miyuki, and it is a competition organic matcha. It is my favorite matcha of all time. I'm telling you, it is out of this world. Just the color, the flavor, it's perfectly balanced, rich in umami. I just love this. You can drink it pure, you can use it for matcha lattes, whatever you want. By the way, you don't have to own these special tea things that I have. You can use your own cups and make matcha all kinds of different ways just by using what you already have. And all the teas come with preparation instructions, so everyone can make them. EQ also gave me a 15% discount code to share with you as well, so I will leave that and the links to these 3 teas in the description box below. They could also make for a really nice holiday gift for someone if you know anyone who loves tea. So definitely check them out, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask, because I think I've tried almost all of them by now, so I can definitely help you out. Number 5, concert tickets and hotels. When we have something going on in the evening, so for us that's usually a concert, we always also splurge on a hotel that is nearby the venue. For several reasons. First of all, because I don't really like to use public transportation at night. Unfortunately, I don't feel safe. So we always get a hotel that's like walking distance near the venue so that we can just walk back, spend the night there, and go home the next morning. Also, because as much as I love going to concerts and doing fun things, it also really tires me out. So if we can take the train, get a hotel, I can usually just take a little nap before the concert starts, and I can keep my energy up and actually enjoy it instead of just being really tired all the time. Obviously, getting a hotel will make things a lot more expensive, but for me personally, I would rather go less often and then, be energized and actually be able to enjoy a concert when I do go. Number 6, travel comfort. Same thing with investing here. I love travel, but as a highly sensitive person, I also find it very overwhelming and exhausting. So we made the decision to just go less often so that we are able to invest a bit more in traveling comfortably. One example is getting a direct flight versus a connecting flight. I personally hate connecting flights. I find them to be so stressful and exhausting. So if there's an option for us to get a direct flight, then I don't mind paying a bit more for that. We very rarely fly, by the way. We much prefer traveling by train or, staying a bit closer. But for some destinations, you do need to fly, and that's when I will splurge on getting a direct flight. And the same goes for our accommodations. I don't need like some kind of fancy, luxurious hotel or anything, but I want something that is clean and safe and gets good reviews, and preferably a bit like quiet or quieter neighborhood, so that I can actually get the rest that I need to enjoy my trip instead of just being really tired. Number 7, food. I love food. and I love eating, and there are definitely some things that I do to, spend less when it comes to grocery shopping. I have a whole video about that, so I will leave that up there as well and in the description. But there are also some foods that I love splurging on because I think good food just nourishes the body and the soul. Like, it's healthy and it's also just, it gives me life. So for example, I love fruit. Summer fruit is one of the only things I like about summer. So, strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, just all the berries, watermelon. I buy these every week in the summer. Lately, I have been really enjoying fresh figs and these like golden kiwi fruits. Not the cheapest, but they are so yummy and they're good for you, so I don't mind spending a bit more there. Number 8, a language learning app. I have the paid version of the Duolingo app, and that is something that I really don't mind spending on because I love that app. I'm using it to improve my Japanese and also learn Spanish, and we are on a family plan with a few people, so that does make it a lot cheaper. If you have the paid version, then you don't have all the ads, but I also really like just supporting the app because I like that anyone can learn a language for free on there. So that is something that I don't mind supporting. Number 9, skincare. When it comes to my skincare, my collection is still quite simple and minimal, but I did choose to upgrade a little because when I was younger, I used to buy only the cheapest drugstore brands, and now that I'm getting a bit older, I am starting to do a bit more research because I do find that ingredients do matter, and now that I am buying better quality products, my skin is thanking me for it. I don't think that you really need a 12-step skincare routine or buy those really high-end expensive products, but I do find that just spending a bit more than the absolute cheapest drugstore brands does get me a good upgrade in terms of quality. Number 10, hiring professionals. I find that if something is important, or if it is something that I don't know how to do myself, or I don't know anyone personally who can help me, then it is good to just hire a professional. For example, I have an accountant who helps me with the end of year tax stuff, and it's just a load of my mind. We also hired someone to help us with the mortgage when we were buying this place, and they really walked us through the entire process. And last weekend, unfortunately, we had a problem in the bathroom sink and the kitchen sink, and we had to hire a plumber. I'm telling you, my stress levels were that high, but luckily the guy who came was able to fix both problems. He had the right know-how, he had the right tools. So this is something that I could have called my dad for to help us, for example, but he wouldn't have been able to fix it this well. Hiring a pro to help you out doesn't just save you time that you would have had to spend to learn to do something yourself, but it also buys you peace of mind, and for me that is very valuable. Number 11, health. When it comes to spending money on healthcare, I know it's not fun. I'm actually the type of person who can get a little cranky when I have a healthcare related bill to pay or more expensive medicine to buy or something. But in the end, minimalism teaches us to ask ourselves what are the most important things in life for us, and for me, health is definitely up there. So that is something that I will always invest in whenever possible. So we have a good health insurance package. I also pay for dental care, which I hate, but I do it anyway, and I'm just very grateful and thankful to live in a country where healthcare is still at least somewhat affordable, and I really think that everyone should have access to affordable healthcare. We do also purchase some supplements. We have vitamin B12, and a couple times a week I'll take a multivitamin and a vegan omega-3. I do try and buy these on sale whenever possible to save some money, but in the end, if it supports my physical health, I think that it is worth it. I would rather spend money on a stupid supplement that keeps me feeling good than on a new sweater or something. Number 12, hair care and haircuts. I always see minimalists talking online about how they cut their own hair, and I think that's great. My partner also cuts his own hair. For me personally, I don't really trust myself to get it right, so I choose to get my hair cut by someone who knows what they're doing. I've checked out the curly girl salons, but a simple haircut can easily go for 80 to 120 euros there, and for me that is just way too much. So I go to a regular salon and I spend about 40 euros for a haircut, and I get one maybe like 3 or 4 times a year. My hair is not the easiest to handle. It is very dry naturally and it gets really frizzy. So I've tried using just cheaper drugstore brands, but they make my hair look like straw. So I do find that it helps to invest in higher quality products that are really moisturizing and they help keep my hair manageable. Number 13, pedicures. I've cut out basically everything, manicures, facials, massages, things like that. But one thing that I do still do, and that's a non-negotiable for me, is to get a pedicure once every 8 weeks. We don't own a car and I like to walk a lot. So I like to keep my feet in good condition, and I notice that if I don't get a pedicure, then my feet start hurting after a while and I get issues. Whereas if I do get a pedicure once every 8 weeks, I never have any issues, I never have any pain, my feet are always in great condition. So for me, that's definitely worth it. Number 14, my high quality yoga mat. I don't spend any money on exercising, but one thing that I do have is a very high quality yoga mat. It is from Manduka. I think it's called the Manduka Pro. And this is not a cheap yoga mat. It was quite expensive, but it's so sturdy that I feel confident it'll last me my entire life. It's nice and thick, so it offers good support for my knees and my wrists while doing yoga, and it's extra wide, it doesn't slip. So I use this mat for everything: yoga, Pilates, dance workouts, high intensity interval trainings. All I need to get my exercise is this mat and YouTube. And this is where the minimalism mantra of quality over quantity really comes in when it comes to examples like this. And I don't think that in order to get like the best quality, we need to always spend the most. I usually find that the best price quality ratio is somewhere in the middle range in terms of pricing, but of course there are exceptions there. Number 15, tech and work gear. Another thing I like to splurge on a bit more, and I used to never be into tech related products before I started my channel. It's actually still not my favorite part of this job. And I remember I used to just film with my phone, and I only bought this camera that I'm using to film right now after I got to 100,000 subscribers. But when it comes to tech, laptops, cameras, all that stuff, I do find now that you get what you pay for and higher quality is usually better. So my advice is to go for the one that is the best, that is still within your budget, because otherwise you're only going to get frustrated after a while. For example, when I bought my new laptop, I have it for a little less than a year now, and it lowered the time that it took my laptop to render a video after I was done editing it from 3 hours to now 5-10 minutes, and that is for every video that I make. So that's just worth it in my opinion. I do try to make my tech products last me as long as possible, and my setup is still really minimal. Definitely when you compare it to other YouTubers, I think I have a lot less gear that I use. But yeah, when it comes to this category, I do find it's usually better to spend a bit more and get the higher quality items. Now I have a question for you, because I would like to ask you if anyone has any recommendations for me where I could get high quality undies and pajamas, preferably that are ethically and sustainably made and vegan, because I've tried different things. I haven't really been able to find a brand that really works for me yet, and I don't want to spend $150 on a pajama set or something. So I would love to know your recommendations. Please leave them in the comments and maybe I can feature them in a later video sometime. Big thank you to EQT for sponsoring today's video. Link and 15% discount code in the description box. Highly recommend checking them out. As always, questions, comments, conversations down below. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you all again next week. Bye bye. I invented a new soup. I like to call it Dutch ramen. It is like a traditional Dutch vegetable soup, the way that your grandma used to make it. But I make it with ramen broth and noodles, and it is just the best thing.